Oh, not sure, you probably can't see me. I'm stood on top of a fridge. Anyway, just a short one, just to kind of talk about the debate I'm having about the free will video. And what is a free will, right? Free will is a theory about how we make choices, or why we make the choices we do. And the definition of free will is really the capacity to choose unhindered, or just the capacity to choose. So when you say to somebody, why do you choose what you choose? And they respond, because I have free will. They say, I choose what I choose because I can choose what I choose. And that statement's true. It's what's known as a tautology. And it doesn't really say anything. It doesn't offer an explanation of why the person chose A rather than B. They just say, and I chose A because I could choose A. But that's not really a reason that escapes the randomness, get out clause from responsibility. It's a reason that it's really just a form of shrugging your shoulders and a kind of avowal of ignorance concerning what free will is. So it still leaves open the question of why you choose what you choose. To really understand free will, you have to have a kind of do a kind of thought game, right? You have to imagine two separate realities, right? Both exactly alike, no distinction at all between them. And so in both of these realities, there's two Chris's, right? And in one, Chris reaches a certain point and is given a decision, right? And he chooses A. And in the other, the exact same story, right? Everything is exactly the same. All the thoughts that are in Chris's head, the way he feels, the things that are going on around him, his life story, it's all the same up to this decision, and he still chooses something different. And then you have to, so that's a good thought experiment to understand what free will would look like, because often, in order to kind of verify a statement or to comprehend a statement, you have to give a scenario in which it would show it to be true. So if you could observe such a scenario, like those two separate worlds, and you saw that happening, then that would be evidence for free will. But even in that situation, right, how does responsibility come in? Because what's getting punished here? If the character, the desires, the preferences, the values, the habits are all the same for both people within those two things, and they're the same after it, then how do you justify punishing the person for the choice? Because the person in both cases is exactly the same, yet they make two different choices. Yet it's the person that is going to suffer. So how could the person have control over the choice? Because remember, the person would have to be there prior to the choice to make the choice. So the choice itself is not a person. It doesn't have thoughts or feelings. It doesn't care what happens. It's just a verb. It's a happening. And it's you and me, it's me who's able to observe and feel and has preferences that gets to come up. So if free will isn't necessarily related to my character, which is produced through my upbringing, you could even say my character is produced through all the multiple choices I made before, but eventually you get to a point at which I was a sperm and an egg, and so there's got to be a beginning, there can't just be I haven't always been here to be the ground for my responsibility, if you understand me. So, yeah, it just doesn't get out of that. Goodbye.